Welcome to Millennials with Mics, discussions about movies, politics, religion, and more. I'm Aaron Mason.
And I'm Christian Stevens.
In today's episode, we will be talking about movie franchises.
Yeah.
We've come up with a few categories of type, different categories of topics behind movie franchises.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of them might repeat here and there, but we have a pretty good list here, I think.
A solid round for these categories of which we've chosen for these franchises for sure. But yeah, I like it.
So, how about you introduce the first category?
Okay, so the first one of 5 that we have here is a few of the best. Just roundabout of the few of the
There's some good ones.
best. And I you never know if they're going to get sequels or prequels or sidequels or whatever happens.
Mm-hmm.
I try to think of a few that are actually like completed series, ones that we know currently aren't really
doing anything.
and that just is already left alone.
Yeah.
But yeah, a few of the best I thought of Austin Powers.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the funniest, well-written trilogies.
How many? There's 4?
There's 3.
There's not 4?
Yeah. That's always been a subject, is always an idea for a 4.
What's the first one? The Spy Who Shagged Me?
International Man of Mystery.
International Man of Mystery, then The Spy Who Shagged Me.
And then Goldmember.
Goldmember, okay. I always remember, I saw Goldmember first. I saw the other 2 years later.
Yeah.
Goldmember is my favorite.
Oh, man, that's hard to pick a favorite. They're each so funny, and they have their own charm. But that's a solid trilogy, in my opinion, and one of the only true spy parodies out there. Yeah. So it stands alone.
Johnny English is kind of a spy parody.
It is. It's not as nearly loved or was at all well done.
I feel like borderline. Johnny English is borderline cult classic.
Sort of. It's like the Monty Python of spy movies. Where Austin Powers is literally just the
straight
dumb parody jab of 007 and things like that. But yeah, you gotta think of that as more of a Monty Python-y, the Johnny English ones.
So the second one of my favorite franchises out there is Aliens.
Aliens, one of the
and we're including Prometheus in this, correct?
Prometheus and Alien Covenant.
So, the first Alien was made, I have a poster of it up in my living room, was made in the late 70s, I believe.
Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver, she was the main character in all the original Alien movies.
Well, it's funny, too, because before she became the iconic Ripley that we know to love, she was actually secondary because the lead for the first one was Tom Skerritt.
Which is still insane to me because...
Bill casting-wise, yeah.
Spoiler alert.
If you haven't seen this old movie.
He dies.
That's the funny thing.
Like, why would you make your lead character
was the
like
lead,
that?
And he got written off.
Like, she is the one person who lives.
The lone survivor.
And yet Tom Skerritt was the top, like...
Exactly. Funny.
What? How sexist do you fuckers have to be?
Well, it's funny how she was secondary, and yet she, held the movie. And then, obviously, through that one, she's now the front runner for the rest of the old Alien films.
Yeah. And, the franchise, the first one is great.
Yeah. Definitely. Ridley Scott did a brilliant job.
He really did. And, I'm sure, all the other Ridley Scott movies that ever existed, there's, multiple versions of it. There's multiple versions of most of his movies. That actually might be the only one that there's not a multiple version of.
Well, I think...
Like a director's cut.
Oh, right. I don't think so. I know the other ones did have director cuts.
A lot of his movies do, unfortunately.
Well, not just him. James Cameron.
No, there are several people who do. No, the first one was really good. Aliens, the second movie.
Oh, I also like that one a lot.
It's good.
It wasn't that's the thing. Alien was more of that kind of single standalone classic sci-fi, or not sci-fi sci-fi horror. Mm-hmm. And then Aliens turned into a more action drama. Yeah. And then they all kind of go sort of that route.
I I still think that Alien 3 was my second favorite. Because that was the one where she had the little...
That was the prison one.
That was the prison one. Wait, what?
Alien 3.
And that was not the one where she had the kid?
That was Aliens.
That was Alien? What? No. No.
The little girl, the blonde little girl,
Yeah.
was introduced in Aliens.
No, not the kid. Like the hybrid xenomorph human hybrid that got sucked out the window.
Oh, Alien Resurrection.
That was Resurrection.
Yes.
Okay.
That was a pretty good one.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I think that one might be my second favorite.
Yeah. It definitely...
Because that's the one that's got... Okay, that's the one with Winona Ryder, Ron Perlman.
Yeah. Brad Dourif and all that.
Okay. So which... Remind me the plots of 1 and 2, or 2 and 3, then.
Aliens was the one where they catch Ripley from, like, being in space for hundreds of years. Then the company... stripper of her...
Is Alien 2 the one with the queen? Or is it Alien 3?
Aliens had the queen and had the multiple... You know, because they turned that planet into a new... You know, they were... making like Earth 2 pretty much. Yes. Putting a lot of families and stuff.
Yeah. And they go... Okay.
Multiple. And they go and try to kill off all those aliens.
I remember that.
And there was the queen.
Yeah.
And...
now, Alien 3...
was the one where she gets struck to the all-male prison planet where the dog hybrid alien is born.
Oh, yeah.
That had Charles Dance. Remember?
Okay, yes. Yeah. Yes, I do remember that. Okay. Yeah, I think my favorite then would be, for the aliens, not counting...
the first one?
No, not counting Prometheus or Alien Resurrection.
No, Alien Covenant.
Alien Covenant, sorry. Not counting those two, I would say of the original Alien series, I think my favorite would probably be, and we won't do this for all of them, but 1, 4, 3, 2, if memory serves. I would honestly need to see them again.
1, 4...
Maybe 1, 4, 2, 3. I've seen the first one.
I would definitely go 1, 4, 2, 3.
I've seen the first one a lot, and I remember the fourth one very vividly. The second and third run together a lot.
Think of it like Alien was just the single xenomorph. Mm-hmm. Aliens had multiple xenomorphs and the queen. The third goes back to a single dog mutated xenomorph. Okay. And then 4 has the clone mutated Ripley with the xenomorphs. Mm-hmm. That's how I look at that. With that nasty male, pale hybrid looking baby one.
Okay, I remember that.
They each have their own little that makes this one stand out.
There we go. Okay. Moving on, a few of the best. This is definitely one of your favorites because it's one of my not favorites.
Right.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter, again, well loved by lots of people. Obviously not everybody, but lots of people do enjoy these. And it's a complete series, and I felt like from beginning to end, they just... Well done job with choosing the cast, the directors. I'm
not a huge fan, but I will say they did a really good job casting, like overall.
Yes, I mean
for the Harry Potter, we're not considering Fantastic Beasts a part of this.
No. That's not even.
It's part of the universe,
but we're not.
But
talking about that.
Okay,
we're just talking about Harry Potter.
Okay. Then yes, I would say it was very well casted.
Yes,
overall.
And even for the child actors today, obviously they were child actors in like the first few, so they were so rusty.
Yeah.
But they become
they're still good.
Really, you got Emma Watson and Daniel Radcliffe, and now they're like really good actors.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just that's one of the better ones.
And then another franchise that I have a love-hate relationship with,
rightfully so,
is Die Hard.
Die Hard.
So, and we're pretty much with the first 3, we definitely agree.
Yes.
1 and 3 are really good.
Uh-huh.
Am I not right on that?
Well, yes, you're right so far.
2 sucks.
Yes, 2 is
Like,
the
I
worst.
think we would agree that out of all the Die Hard movies, 2 is the worst.
2 is the worst.
And then 4 and 5 is where we fall off a cliff. Well, in my opinion, both the series and mine and yours opinions. Because I essentially hate 4 and 5 and think they shouldn't have been made. Especially number 4. 5 was a lot better than 4.
Like,
but even then, like
a 4th and 5th Die Hard sequel was inevitable and was going to happen regardless.
But it was so much later.
It was so much later, that's true. And as far as picking the right scripts and stuff, they were definitely different.
And the villain, Timothy Oliphant in number 4 as a villain, was just terrible. I like Timothy Oliphant too. He was awful.
Honestly,
the writing in that was awful.
I mean, it's hard to one up Alan Rickman and
Jeremy
Irons.
Even the villain in the second movie was better than him. Like, that movie sucked. But the villain was still better.
I thought the movie was... I would agree with Timothy Oliphant. I mean, I like Timothy Oliphant, but as far as villain...
He wasn't good in that movie, though.
Fair. I think Justin Longdale was a good comic relief.
He was.
And one of the things, though, I would say that I liked about that one, Live Free or Die Hard, was that the scope of it was bigger. Mm-hmm. They had a lot more big of a playground with all of DC and a lot more tricks and stuff. And I still think Bruce Willis kept that John McClane action still vibrant, even if it was a subpar film in comparison.
Yeah. And then number 5, the one in Russia, that Jai Courtney was
A Good Day to Die Hard.
I don't remember who the villain was in that.
It was a nobody Russian actor.
Okay. It was better than the 4th. The villain was better, I think.
It was rated R, and it was more
R.
violent.
It was. Jai Courtney was good as the son. Bruce
It was
Willis
too
good.
short.
That was probably a good thing, though.
Probably. It was the shortest of them, and I think that's what I noticed, too.
But, 1... Honestly, I think 3 might be my favorite, but 1 is just so classic and good.
3 was always your favorite, and but number 1 is just a great... Obviously,
it is the classic. It is what started it all off.
Like I said, the direct sequel, Die Harder, in my opinion, was what it's called, was just awful because it tried so much to be Die Hard.
Yeah,
and it failed.
And honestly, though, and I agree, it is the worst movie out of all of them. That said, it loses my attention. The second one loses my attention and
all the time.
The 4th and 5th. They might not be my favorites, but they are attention grabbing. I would still say, though, that number 2 probably I enjoy more than 4 and 5.
Oh, that's just crazy.
Yeah, it kind of is, but oh well. So, a few of the worst. We're pretty much in line
with all of these, I think.
Number 1, Transformers.
Yeah.
Fuck everything about it. I'm sorry.
Now, I'll give it...
the one song that I love from the fray, Never Say Never. The only good thing about those movies.
Yeah. Well, the one positive I will give is that I think if you were to do a Transformers movie in general, not that these were good, but if you were to do one, Michael Bay was a good choice to do the first couple, I would say. The visual effects and the concept and stuff like that, I think he did a very
visual
big
effects were really
blockbuster, awesome job.
Yeah.
And the other thing you did that I thought was was you had the nerdy, secluse Shia LaBeouf playing the geek of it in this very militarized, action-packed movie, which made it kind of funny and stuff like that. And so the first 3 is its own trilogy, right? Due to having the same cast and everything like that, even though you're written off Megan Fox in number 3 because she won't give a BJ to Michael Bay. And so besides that, once you did 4 and 5 and then you started going off the wall and you have Mark Wahlberg and you started really, it went so downhill.
Then you had the Bumblebee movie.
Now there's a Bumblebee spinoff, and now he's talking about doing another one. It's by this point, I'm fried. I'm fried. I mean, Anthony Hopkins was in one of them, and it was all based on the medieval knights and Arthur and crap. And I was like,
that's just...
Then you have dinosaurs now, and when does it end?
Yeah.
Just because it's visually cool to have dinosaur
People
Transformers.
still go to see them though.
And that's
with all of these. They're terrible. But
and that's the thing about the worst franchises we pick here is that, I mean, they still exist for the most part because people love mediocrity. And these movies just give you a little, ooh, that was violent and stunning and explosions. Yeah. But yeah, Transformers sucks.
So our next one, we got to keep this limited.
I'll try.
Fast and Furious. We are definitely, I think, in the minority of people in this country, probably the world,
that loathe
this entire franchise.
Yeah. Everything about it.
Vin Diesel is with the exception of the pacifier, he is a terrible, terrible actor.
And voicing Groot doesn't count.
No, it's
because
voicing.
It's voicing, and all you say is "I am Groot."
Yeah.
So besides that, and his pacifier movie, which was just cute.
Yeah, but no, the Fast and Furious is just awful.
I mean, Vin Diesel's awful.
Absolutely awful.
Nothing against Paul Walker, but like
it doesn't. I mean, he just happened to be in it.
He just so happened to be in them. But how many Fast and Furious films with fast cars and stupid new family-related terrorists and action do you have to have that they are? There's a 10 of these, I don't know how they are right now, but there's 10 total planned.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck
there's
me.
got to be more than 10 movies by now.
No, well, no, there's not more than 10. Now, Hobbs and Shaw was a spinoff. They don't count that.
But still, even without Hobbs and Shaw, there's not 10 yet?
There's 8.
Really?
I think this year was supposed to be 9.
8 films, yeah. Plus 1 spinoff. Okay. Damn.
But think about that.
But still, that's too fucking many.
A 9th is coming, and then a 10th, and then a Hobbs and Shaw 2. And it's like, wow.
And you know there's going to be another spinoff in there somewhere.
And it's just, it's as tiring as Transformers. Just let it go.
Yeah. And it's just, I don't know. It's not the actors in them. It's not. Jason Statham has done good movies on his own. The Rock has done good movies on his own. Like,
what Fast and Furious does is throw a lot of big money at talented actors to keep these things somewhat watchable. Helen Mirren and Charlize Theron and Idris Elba.
No,
you have to throw these actors in there to make us see this.
But like they're terrible regardless of the actors, good or bad actors. Like it's not because they're putting a bunch of bad actors in there. They're poorly made. They're poorly written. Like they're terrible.
Yeah. Vin Diesel just stands alone as the shitty actor in this. To be fair.
Yeah, no.
Not a fan of Michelle Rodriguez, but she's not terrible.
Yeah.
She's done some good stuff.
Yeah.
But no, just wow. Yeah. Anyways, thou shalt continue.
Our next one would be Hunger Games, and this is another one, kind of like Die Hard, in that the first 2
were solid.
Were good. Like the first one was enjoyable. The second one
was great.
A little bit less so.
Oh, I didn't agree.
I enjoyed the first one more, but they were both good.
They were.
We can agree they were both really good. Then
damn.
3. There were 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
3 and 4.
Part 1, part 2.
Totally shit the bed.
Wow.
That was right around the time when Harry Potter encouraged all of these other franchises
teen book movies
split
the last
movie into 2 movies to milk more money, and
Twilight did it.
Just fucking terrible.
Absolutely
terrible.
Both of them were so boring.
Yeah,
and it's like the whole. The imagination of it just went to shit.
Which partially was, I feel like, they weren't supposed to be boring, but they were supposed to show the difference in their lives now. But like they poorly made, just very poorly made. Yeah. There was no reason it should have been 2 movies.
No,
there was no reason they should have been as long or as boring as they were. It's just bad. I feel like Trump, but sad.
Very sad. Yeah. But no.
And then we're going to have 2 different perspectives on this franchise as well. Slightly. We're going to agree at the core.
Yeah.
The Hobbit.
Yep.
So, I like the Lord of the Rings movies. They're good. Got to watch the extended ones if you're going to watch them. The Hobbit 2 for that matter. The Hobbits, the 3 Hobbit movies, they're alright. Enjoyable wise, they're alright. They're fairly enjoyable, I feel like.
They're not enjoyable.
Moderately enjoyable, I'll go down to that. I understand how someone could think that they're not. Peter Jackson completely sold out.
Yes.
Somehow being made, 5-10 years later, the
Yes.
graphics in The Hobbit were, with such a bigger budget, were so much worse than the graphics than any of the graphics in The Lord of the Rings.
It was cheap. They looked like video games.
It really did.
The orcs and everything were just so... Even Smaug, the fucking dragon, was dumb.
And then you had that, in that first Hobbit movie, you had that, like, Goblin King with the tit on his chin. That just went back. Like, that's just...
It was so stupid.
It was. Like, you had a Benedict Cumberbatch, Luke Evans,
Yeah.
Martin Freeman. Like, you had a decent cast to work with. And then he just completely sold out to Hollywood. He himself
shit the bed with the making of these.
No, he did. He absolutely
And I would have said that, as much as I don't care for Lord of the Rings either, I would have given The Hobbit to a different filmmaker who actually would have gave a damn about doing these right.
I understand
than Peter
why they
Jackson for a fat check.
I understand why they initially went to him for or why he initially did those.
But you would have seen Guillermo del Toro would have done a better job than this.
Oh, tons of people would have done a better job. But, like, I think the envisioning was, okay, we're going to give it to him. He did a good job with Lord of the Rings. We're going to give it to him. We're going to give these 3 movies to him. We're going to give him a bigger budget. It's going to be even better. And then he just... fucked it all up.
Yeah. Didn't even put an inch of care with anything. Like, just... Jesus.
Okay.
And again, it was... What was it? 1 book?
Yeah, 1 book.
Split into 3 movies?
I'm sure the book might have had... No, it was just 1 book. Yeah, it was 1 book.
Again, just because Lord of the Rings had 3 movies, does that have 3 movies?
Yeah.
Please.
Of course, Lord of the Rings was also technically 1 book, but in 3 parts.
Oh, okay. Well,
and
Hobbit
3 separate. Like, Hobbit, I believe, was just 1 book.
Didn't need to be a trilogy. No. That's my point.
No. Voting isn't just going to the polls on election day anymore. Options like early voting, mail-in voting, and ballot drop boxes are available to more voters and are growing in popularity.
How to Vote, a tool created by Democracy Works, breaks down the options your state offers for casting a ballot, empowering you to decide when and where to vote. Democracy works best when we all vote, but misinformation and confusion about election procedures have resulted in low voter turnout.
How to Vote, a tool created by Democracy Works, takes the guesswork out of voting. Things like signing up for election reminders, seeing what's on your ballot, step-by-step assistance requesting your mail-in ballot, exploring options for returning your mail-in ballot, checking your voter registration status, finding your nearest polling site, and making sure you have the appropriate ID. Decide when and where you'll vote this year at howto.vote. No, not at all.
So,
franchises that should continue or at least be finished. This is one of your favorites. I'll let you lead off with this one.
Okay. A lot of people don't know about this one. That's fine. But anybody who is a Kevin Smith fan, which I wouldn't say I'm a Kevin Smith fan.
Clerks
but if you,
doesn't count, people.
Yeah. But if you are a fan of his work, then you would know about this True North trilogy. It's supposed to be a trilogy, and that's why we're doing should continue or finish. It started with Tusk, 2014 with... it was a good movie. Had Haley Joel Osment, Genesis Rodriguez, and...
was it Justin Long?
Justin Long, thank you. And Johnny Depp was the Inspector. Canadian detective, whatever. Yeah. And it was just a fun, delightful little Canadian, B-rated horror movie. And then he followed it with a more poorly done Yoga Hosers, which was still funny, and it was stupid.
It wasn't that good, though.
But it wasn't that good, right. But
of course, you had, in that movie, it was Johnny Depp's daughter, Lily Rose, and then Kevin Smith's daughter,
they played
Harley
the
Quinn.
little like the quick store.
Yeah. Them leading a movie. They were in the first...
That probably wasn't, a good idea.
Yeah, they were in the first movie in a scene or two. Them leading a movie, having never led a movie, I don't feel like that was the best choice. Johnny Depp was also a leading...
He played as much of a role as he did in the Tusk.
You don't think he played more of a role? I don't remember how much he was in Tusk.
I mean, he probably did a little bit more, but not much more.
But, I don't know.
But it wasn't a good continuation.
No.
But
Then-
anywho, the third one, I hope it's still in development that Kevin Smith's supposed to be giving us is Moose Jaws, which is Jaws but with a moose, and that has yet to happen. And I'm just curious as to what's taking Kevin Smith so long to do Moose Jaws, and if it's ever going to happen and complete this True North trilogy. Hopefully, Moose Jaws equals, holds up as good as Tusk.
It's listed on IMDb as in development.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, it's been in development for 5
Ever.
years now or something like that, though, so
Right.
who knows,
But yeah, that's one that I hope to see completed.
Our next one is Star Trek, particularly the Kelvin timeline. If you're not familiar, or people who may not be familiar, the Kelvin timeline is what they call the reboot series with Chris
Pine,
Zachary
and Quinto.
That is the Star Trek that we're talking about.
The ones that were directed by J.J. Abrams in the first two. Mm-hmm.
You had Star Trek Into Darkness, and then Star Trek Beyond. There was Anton Chekhov, unfortunately passed away before the release of the third one.
Anton Yelkin.
What did I say?
Chekhov was his character.
Oh, Anton Chekhov.
So you took two together.
I did. He passed away. That kind of stalled things up for a minute.
I think so.
And then there were contract issues between Chris Pine and Chris Evans. Both returned.
Chris Hemsworth.
I get all the Chris's confused.
I know, it's common misconceptions here.
But there were contract issues. Both of them wanted more money to return. And apparently they're not being made. There's still a possibility, I guess, is what I read.
I've heard recently that I think their ideas of a fourth has resurfaced with possible new writers and stuff.
Yeah.
Probably won't be the Quentin Tarantino screenplay that we were talking about. Probably for the best, but I just want a fourth one regardless.
Yeah, a fourth one. Wrapping up that,
the
third one was
good.
And you could do a stopping place there. You're completing with the first Enterprise. You see the Enterprise B being built.
It just feels like it's the middle of a franchise. It doesn't feel like the end of a franchise.
I feel like it could be. I feel like it is set up to where it could be an end and be satisfying, but I do feel like it could be seen as like the end to part one, needing in the end of part one and the beginning of part two.
Okay.
I don't think there need to be like 9 of them like there were the movies with the original series cast. But like I feel like with the Enterprise B being built at the end of the movie, I feel like that paves the way for like a new trilogy and things like that.
With the same cast?
With the same cast.
Okay.
So like I do feel like you could stop there and it be okay. I do also agree that I would like more because I think that cast in those characters was absolutely amazing.
And I feel like even with 3 movies, we haven't had enough of them yet.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so much more to tell.
And yeah, the third one wasn't as good as the second one. Nothing ever is going to be Star Wars wise.
Star Trek
wise. Because Into Darkness was so good.
Sure.
And the first one was really good too.
Yeah, it was.
But Star Trek 3, a lot of people didn't like it as well as the other two.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too. It was a fun movie.
Yeah.
And Sophia Boutella.
Oh man, she was fun.
She was really good.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. I would like to see more. I don't think there have to be more, but I would like to see more.
Yes, I would agree.
One of my favorites is next, Mad Max. So you have the 3, which a lot of people don't know there are 3. You have 3
Mel
Gibson ones.
Yeah.
The first one in America is relatively unknown. A lot of people think the second one, Road Warrior, was the first one.
Oh, it wasn't.
Because it wasn't actually released in America.
Right.
The first
Australia?
one wasn't released in America, just Australia. The second movie was actually the first one released in the U.S.
Yeah.
Which is why there's such a big intro in the beginning of that.
Yeah.
But you have those 3, and then more recently, I think 2015, you had Mad Max Fury Road. One of my favorite movies.
With Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy, Charlize Theron.
Yeah. It was a great reboot continuation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The director, George Kennedy, had plans for 3 at least total. Like
Wasteland was supposed to be the title for the next one or something like that.
Yeah, plans for 3 more, and then I think a Furiosa movie on top of that. Had some issues with the studio. There was a lawsuit. All that settled out, and I think that he claims it's back in pre-development. I don't know what that actually means, but like, yeah, I absolutely. Mad Max is one of those things you could continue forever. It could be, you could do Mad Max, honestly, you could do that like you do the Bond movie.
I'm about to say that, yeah.
Have a different actor as Max, because he's always traveling. There's always some new story.
And there's always something new happening, yeah.
Yeah, so like I feel like you could continually do that series and it not get old.
I would agree.
And then the last one, and a lot of people might not agree with us on this necessarily, the DCEU.
Oh, yeah.
DC Extended Universe.
Yes. We feel has enough room for now to do more projects.
There's still many, many more projects planned.
Precisely.
Like, it's not like they're not doing this.
Right. So...
But at the same time, we had a little bit of a different perspective, particularly on Ben Affleck's Batman than other people did. We didn't hate him.
No. I thought he was good.
Like, he was good. He wasn't the best Batman that's ever been... best actor to ever be Batman.
None of them really are.
And, like, I think the issue with Ben Affleck, whether he's done with the role or not, I think the issue with him as Batman is that people were trying to fit Christian Bale as Batman still, because those were so recent.
And that's
not fair to the character. That's not fair to Ben Affleck.
No,
that's not fair to the series. It's not fair to anybody. It's not fair to yourselves to be hoping for that.
And it's not fair comparing anybody who plays Joker from here on out to Heath Ledger.
Yes.
Let me move on. Look at it as a whole new project and a whole new series, and stop comparing.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's better everyone loves Joaquin Phoenix. It's for this we're talking about Jared Leto. Was Jared Leto a great Joker? No. Was he a good Joker?
Visually and stuff, I think he was okay.
He was a very different take.
I
thought it was a very. I grew up with the animated series. Batman was my number one growing up. He was a very different take. I thought a very fresh take on Joker, because Jokers by and large have been the core has been the same.
Crazed, tatted, gangster type.
Yeah,
Joker, which was more modern.
I think fitting for this incarnation of the DC universe. I thought.
And how they portray Harley Quinn and everything else. He fits in the bill, I thought.
But, whether Ben Affleck comes back or in the future, he won't for the Batman, but, Justice League 2 or something like that, and whether Jared Leto comes back ever.
Well, is yet to be seen.
Has yet to be seen. I don't think it really will affect the future movies they have planned. We have Wonder Woman.
1984.
We have, let's see. We have the Batman.
They're working on a Shazam 2, a Black Adam.
Let's see. We have... So Wonder Woman, as of right now, is coming out in August of 2020. The Batman is supposed to be summer of 21. The Suicide Squad, which is a soft reboot.
It's a soft reboot, but it's still a continuation.
It is kind of a continuation of the story of the Suicide Squad. It's also summer 2021. Then you have Black Adam in December of 2021. And then Shazam 2, I think we're all looking forward to that, in April of 22. The Flash in July 22, and then Aquaman 2 in 2022.
That's a lot for 2022.
3 movies. Or 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 movies in 2021 and 22.
That's crazy.
And, Aquaman having a little casting shakeup, since it looks like Amber Heard might be being let go due to some... Might, due to some.
And there's one thing I know about Warner Bros. They're not as soft as other studios as far as terminating actors for the roles. Now, I'm not saying they aren't or are. I'm saying in general.
It's been reported the last couple of weeks that Amber Heard is going to be fired because of the Johnny Depp issue. We don't know that for certain.
Right.
because of everything going on right now, that's not anyone's top priority.
Yeah.
But
I think she's a great Mira.
it is her being not in the movie is a possibility. And it's not
Right.
coming out for a couple of years. They're not going to be filming for a while.
So they have time to think about that.
Yeah, we'll
consider
see.
what happened.
But like Man of Steel wasn't my favorite movie, but it was still decent. Probably the better Superman movie that's been made.
He's definitely the best Superman. But like, I don't know. I love it. I mean, I don't love it, but I liked it.
Yeah, Batman versus Superman. I really enjoyed that movie.
I know.
I don't know why people shit on that so much. I thought it was good.
Especially if you haven't seen the extended cut of that, which is a total of 3 hours.
Yeah,
it helps.
It does.
Puts a lot more.
The original movie was good.
I know. It's well done. I thought Zack Snyder having his hands on
he did really
the
good.
DCU projects was the best until he left.
Yeah.
And then I know things got shooken up with Justice League because what's his name? Joss Whedon had to come in.
Yeah, Zack Snyder did most of it. Joss Whedon came in and did a lot of the post-production, which really just fucked everything up.
Right.
But, I mean, even between Batman vs. Superman and Justice League, you had Suicide Squad, which also didn't do critically well or commercially as well.
It was an okay movie.
It was enjoyable.
It was enjoyable.
It wasn't the best made movie, but it was still fun. It was a fun watch.
It was fun, I guess.
Wonder
Wonder Woman was fantastic.
Woman was fucking fantastic. I think maybe one of the better financially, one of the better movies that they did.
That and
so good.
Aquaman were both financially beneficial.
But no, after Wonder Woman, you had Justice League later that year, which, due to Zack Snyder's very unfortunate loss of his daughter, Joss Whedon had to come in
And
do post-production, which just honestly, that totally fucked.
And honestly, Zack Snyder and Joss Whedon are so polar opposites.
They really are.
As far as their visual take on superhero films, that it's like, you just can't even compare.
You had two directors' visions for the movie, and it didn't. The movie wasn't very good. It just was what it was. Then you had Aquaman come around, James Wan directed.
Oh yeah.
There was still some wonky stuff in there, I thought, but overall it was really good, or pretty good, I would say.
I liked Aquaman.
Shazam, really fun movie. Zachary Levi
brought a lot of fresh energy.
Yeah, it did. Who else was in that? Yeah, Zachary Levi, Mark Strong.
Oh, Mark Strong was a great choice.
Yeah,
always is.
That movie was it was really good. It was fun. I'm looking forward to the second of that. And then Birds of Prey earlier this year.
Also wasn't as loved.
Wasn't as
critically.
loved. Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn is just the perfect pairing. I think.
And I don't think she fell short in this.
Not at all.
No, she kept up.
I don't even think the movie fell short.
Me neither.
Like it's looking on Wikipedia here. Forgive me.
Birds of Prey was a great film.
For looking on Wikipedia, but I mean, estimated budget of up to $100 million. They're saying Birds of Prey did 102.9, 201,900,000. I'll get it out one day. And of course, it came out early February. You had some issues with the naming of it. You know, halfway through the name, theaters started switching it to Harley Quinn, the Birds of Prey. I think they could have done a better name than just Birds of Prey. Like having Harley Quinn being the main focus of the name, I think would have been better. But right around the time that was starting to begin to fizzle out, you had all this coronavirus stuff come around.
Yeah.
Which didn't help the movie either. It's been released on demand early.
Yeah, but I still think Birds of Prey was in theaters long enough for it to make enough big box office revenue before this COVID-19 happened. And but it is cool that you can now, if you haven't seen it yet, it's available digitally.
And definitely go watch it.
Oh yeah, it's fun, it's violent, it has Ewan McGregor, And so what we're getting at is that the DCEU is still doing some fun, promising projects. Mm-hmm. And so at some point, yes, do these need to come to an end? Definitely.
Yeah.
But are we enjoying them and are they doing a good job thus far and still finding its way? Yes. So I'm still hopeful for a lot of good DC projects to come.
Moving on. Franchises that should be rebooted or remade. Some interesting choices you have here.
Thank you. And
about
all
you?
have good, solid reasoning.
The first one, Chronicles of Narnia, I will admit I've only seen the first one.
Okay.
So I'm going to let you take the lead on that.
Well, the first one was a pretty fun movie.
Yeah.
And had good child actors and Liam Neeson and all that kind of stuff. But after that, they made a second and a third, Prince Caspian and Voyage of the Dawn Treader or whatever that movie was called. And it's like it fell off the bandwagon really hard. Didn't even hold up to the first one, and it's like they didn't know where they were going. It was like 3 independent projects trying to be a consistent series, and it wasn't. It was just like completely different random movies, but had the same actors, I guess. And it's like the writing of them all were atrocious after the first one, and it just all blew to shit. And so people who do enjoy the Chronicles of Narnia and want to see a good TV or film adaptation done correctly, I just think, we need to slate this entire messy series that they have done.
Yeah.
And just start fresh.
Yeah.
And
fair.
If that be like a HBO limited series or a new movie
that'd be interesting.
franchise, then I think that's the better way to take the Chronicles of Narnia. But I think it's time we can actually redo those.
Yeah.
I think.
This next one. Oh, so many thoughts. X-Men.
Lots of thoughts.
So X-Men, the original film franchise done by 20th Century Fox, and then has currently the characters have all been bought out by, or with Disney's acquisition of it.
We don't even have to go to that part yet, though, because we're just looking at what 20th Century Fox has to this point. Because as we know, Dark Phoenix was the last one.
Dark Phoenix was the last one. New Mutants, if that ever comes out, is going to be in that.
I guess so.
It's going to be a very weird placement. I mean, and technically Deadpool's in there too.
Those are like spin-off style.
Yeah. But like, if they're rebooted or remade, it's going to be in the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
Which is just going to fuck them all up.
Possibly.
I mean, honestly, it is. It's going to fuck them all up.
Well, and that's where...
Bad.
If you're doing new X-Men related movies that are going into the MCU, that's one thing. But if you're trying to at all synchronize the already existed 20th Century Fox with Hugh Jackman and all that, and meld those into MCU, then that's where you fuck up.
Yes, if you're going to redo...
Because that's a big clusterfuck.
Yes, if you're going to move the X-Men to the MCU, it needs to be fresh. It needs to be...
Recasted.
If you want to keep Deadpool, move Deadpool over, that's fine. I would keep it its own thing. Keep Ryan Reynolds.
And I think they
there.
know that. As much as people want to see that,
yeah.
I think the creators know that that's not going to happen.
But no, if you're going to do Wolverine and Professor X and all of them, recast it. Don't do it, period. But if you have to, recast it.
Because the X-Men franchise alone, it kind of reminds me of sort of like the Terminators, where like a couple are consistent and then it gets messy. And with the prequels and the cycles and all these things, it's just too many different writers, too many different directors involved. And it's like they all did their own movie and it wasn't coherent enough to keep a very solid series.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think
I agree.
they are over now, but the future of X-Men needs to be completely new and different.
Yeah. The next one I have mixed feelings on. Hannibal Lecter. So I assume we're just talking about the Anthony Hopkins movies, not the television series.
Right. No.
I don't know. Anthony Hopkins isn't going to do it anymore.
No. And he was the only one, well, besides the television shows and the prequel movie, he's really the only movie adult mature Hannibal.
Yeah, and I mean, the Hannibal Rising, which had a different actor, it was part of that.
Yes.
Like, he was young. He was like 25, 30 in that. I don't know.
If they ought to reboot those or remake those?
I don't know if they ought to reboot it. I love those movies. I love the character, and I love the TV show. The TV show is a very different adaptation of the character.
Sure.
And they're supposed to be doing. I heard CBS is doing a Clarice Starling show.
That'll be
no
interesting.
Hannibal Lecter, like set between Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal.
That'd be cool.
Just her and the FBI, so it's going to be just another police procedural show.
I don't think that's going to do well.
Don't know about that. I'll watch it. I'll give it a try at least. Yeah, I'm very on the fence.
Yeah, I can see where you would be.
About that, because Anthony Hopkins was just...
the ideal.
So perfect in that role. Like, I almost feel like you should wait 10, 20 years.
Well, think how long it's already been.
I mean, yeah, the last one was made... I think Hannibal, or the last one he was in was actually Red Dragon.
Red Dragon.
Which I want to say was like 2002.
Yeah, 2 or 3 or something like that.
So it's been almost 20 years since that's been made. I'm saying maybe wait another 20.
You know that ain't gonna happen.
They should.
They possibly.
Like, wait another 20. Another actor, who might be, unknown right now, might come up, who might be a really good one, a really good Hannibal Lecter as well. I don't really want them to redo that in the near future, though, because those are just so good.
Were there any other Hannibal books they could do from, or just those?
Nope, just those.
Maybe if instead of doing new Hannibal with the same books, do whole new stories, whole new original screenplays.
Yeah, because there was a decent amount of time between books. Like from Red Dragon, well, there wasn't necessarily from Red Dragon to Silence of the Lambs because he was just in prison for that time. But there was a fairly decent amount of time between Red Dragon and Hannibal that, what was he doing? Where was he that you could do? So, yeah, you could do that. I wish they would just leave it alone for now.
Okay.
Because I love those so much. I really do.
I know. That's why this next one's going to be a little interesting.
Yeah, The Godfather.
Don Corleone.
And this is one of those things, like, that's the Godfather film franchise, one of my favorites. Just got done reading the books. All the books. The original book, and then the 3 follow-up books that weren't written by Mario Puzo. The books are really good. The movies are really good. What I would like them to do with this, the last book that came out, The Family Corleone, is a prequel book. It's set like 10 years before the first movie.
That wouldn't be bad.
It was based off of an unproduced screenplay by Mario Puzo. What I want done with this, I don't think they should reboot necessarily. I want them to make that movie. Because that book, that story...
Canon with the other films?
Canon with the other films. The people aren't going to look anything like the actors.
That's what I'm going to say.
Okay, that's fine. I'll concede to that. Okay. Do it anyways. The story was so good.
Would that be like... Would you see that broken into like different movies or just one big movie?
Just one big movie.
Okay.
Because like the movie takes place over like 2 or 3 years. We don't see like we jump from like spring of 33 to like summer 34 to like winter 35, something like that. I could see how they might want to do it in 3 movies. They shouldn't. They could do it in one cohesive movie. And I think it has the potential to be really good.
Yeah.
That's what I would want them to do with that, not remake The Godfather.
Gotcha.
So, and then our last category, why won't they stop?
Why won't they stop, Aaron? Because money, money, money.
Yeah. So we've already talked about this one. I don't see the need to delve into it much more. Fast and Furious.
Well, we won't hash back on like why we know those are terrible, but why are they making more?
Because people keep seeing them.
Because there's still a big fan base with those movies that people just have that adrenaline junkie rush to go see.
Yeah.
This crap, as much as it's crap, and I was fair. I saw like the first few, and I watched Hobbs and Shaw, and they're all bad, Aaron.
Yeah.
They're just not
Yeah.
good.
But people keep going to see them. As long as they do, they'll keep making them. And we'll have to keep suffering through them.
And so we're saying is we wish they would stop.
Yeah. Mission Impossible.
Now, I am very... There's very black and white here. The white part of it is... I love Mission Impossible. Granted, I can see how this might sound hypocritical, being that it's one of those big blockbuster franchises that keep getting made over and over. And I would say that I want it to stop. I thought that number 6 would have been its last.
It should have been.
And should have been. It was a great...
I'll take that back. 4 should have been the last.
Well, anywho. But I guess for me personally, these movies still are getting better and better. And I think what I heard was Fallout was one of the highest grossed films of them all and was highly received. And I guess that got Christopher McQuarrie into wanting to do a 7 and 8 back to back. And I'm like, damn, can we just like take the money and stop? But hopefully my fingers crossed is that he's wrapping these up two back to back to finish Ethan Hunt in these Mission Impossibles.
Hopefully.
And say, we are done here. So yes, I enjoy these movies, but yes, I would like to see these wrap up.
As someone who's not a fan of these movies, the last ones, because Ghost Protocol was 4. Right?
That's correct.
What was the 5th one?
Rogue Nation.
And then the 6th.
Fallout.
So 4, 5, and 6 were all miles and miles and miles better than 1, 2, and 3.
Sure.
1 might even go as far as to say enjoyable.
Well,
From
3
someone,
was pretty good.
From someone who doesn't care for the movies, they were enjoyable. They've got to stop.
Yeah.
Even the 3 enjoyable ones are basically the same movie. They are. The storylines are a little different, but it's the same movie. I'm sorry. Moving on, another one we've already talked about, Transformers.
Yeah, again, I don't think anybody actually wants these.
But they keep seeing them. They keep making money.
Yeah, I honestly don't know how they're even considering making more of this
young
crap.
People and kids that keep going to see it. They can't get into rated R movies. They got to go see something, and so they go see shit like this.
I honestly, that's one that's like, there's not a lot of rope left with that one. And how much rope do you have to really tie this robot to a dead horse? And
and I loved playing with Transformers as a kid. I really did. I had several.
I think we kind of the nostalgia stage though of Transformers.
We passed that.
5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's like we're ready to not have them. Yeah. And yet they're like, but wait, there's more.
Yeah.
Come on.
Billy, oh God, what was his name? The OxyClean guy. Billy Mays.
Oh.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus Christ. And then the last one, we couldn't go, and there's several big franchises that we haven't talked about, Star Wars being among them. We couldn't go through the franchise list without talking about the MCU.
Yes, as the big universe as it is. That's, for us, that's a completely different... We have different views on the MCU than the DCEU, because the MCU is much more planned out. It's a lot more mathematically.
You have the phases and this and that,
and it's so laid out to the point of making money that it's not even funny.
Yeah, and it's just
think of any little semi character they can.
Yeah.
To make an extra buck.
And how many of these movies are there now?
20 something.
So as of right now, there are 23 movies have been released.
Mm-hmm.
With 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 movies in development.
Yeah.
No.
I know.
I'm sorry.
And the other problem is they think that just because they did a movie with each superhero, and that one of those superheroes had a couple of films, that all of a sudden each of them have to have the same amount of movies, trilogies and quadrilogies and all this crap. And it's just a plethora of films that you have to watch every single one to make into one big one like Avengers Endgame.
And honestly, like I'm looking at this list of movies here, like 23 films released. 1, 2, 3, 4 movies I find enjoyable. I've seen them all. Okay, I haven't seen Ant-Man and Wasp, granted. But out of 23 movies, 4 that I can legitimately say are enjoyable to watch.
I have my handpick of them that I like, but like half of this.
Yeah, the rest of them are just... This is one of those areas I agree with Martin Scorsese on. I disagree with his premise of these shouldn't be in theaters or these shouldn't be awards. But like, these aren't what movies are supposed to be about.
Like quality cinema.
Quality-wise, just milking it for the sake of money. Just shitting out the most graphic, pure green screen. No.
Yeah, I know.
I can't. I've never been on board with this.
And it's
I didn't see fucking Iron Man. The original Iron Man came out in 2008. I didn't see that till Avengers came out in 2012.
Oh, yeah.
I can't.
That's just something that needs to die. And you gotta just quit. And in their way, though, like the Infinity Saga, in their way, is like its own. Mm-hmm. And then they're doing a whole new. But it's still. Yeah. I mean, there's still like Loki and Scarlet Witch and all these people who are still weaved into these things. Yeah. And it's like Christ on a stick. Can we just.
Yeah. And it's, none of this is even getting into the TV series or anything like that.
Oh, all those Netflix ones, they've completely waved those away as not even. Yeah. Besides Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., probably the rest of them.
They're all done for the most part.
Because they thought that all those shows were going to be part of it. Yeah. Well, no.
They are a part of the universe. They just aren't actively
film-wise.
They thought they were going to put those characters in with the universe.
Right.
Movies, but they didn't end up.
Right.
But they are part of the universe because, they have little minor... Some of the characters in the Avengers and things like that have appearances in these. So they are connected, but it's just... I don't know. Black Widow... I've said this before, with the exception of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, if that happens, I fully do not plan on ever seeing another Marvel movie in theaters.
Yeah, like I said, maybe
Guardians 3. I will watch on Disney Plus. Guardians 3, yeah, 3, yeah. Maybe Disney Plus I'll watch. Like Black Widow I'll probably watch. The Eternals actually looks
Once it's streamable.
Once it's streamable, I'll watch it. I won't see one in theaters except for that one.
Because we've skipped a lot of these.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I didn't pay a ticket. Yeah, the Spider-Mans and the Black Panthers and all that.
Yeah.
It's like come on.
It's got to stop.
Yeah.
Eventually. But, well, those are our thoughts on some of the more prevalent franchises.
Yeah.
We talked about 007s in our first... podcast episode.
Yeah, we dipped into that a little bit. Yeah,
and there's several others. I mean, we could have the whole episode on Star Wars itself
if that was ever a conversation itself. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's several other franchises here that have been missed. If you have any that you would like our thoughts on, let us know. We'd be more than happy to talk about them if we've seen them. We probably have. If they're any sort of even fairly well known, we probably will have seen them. So
yeah, most likely.
Throw some at us.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
You want us to talk about. We'll definitely take a look at them. Other than that, that is Millennials with Mics. Have a great day.
Yes, have a great day.